Okay, welcome class. Today we're talking about y equals mx plus b. We're talking about slope-intercept form. We're talking about standard form. Ax plus by is equal to c. There are other ways you could see that. First, let's just take a look at our y equals mx plus b. It's basically y equals slope x plus y-intercept, meaning our m is our slope and our b is our y-intercept. So if you're given y is equal to 2x minus 3, you're assuming that when x is 0, your y is going to be equal to negative 3. So usually we use that as our first step of graphing, and we'll go to negative 3 on our y line, and we'll plot that y-intercept, and then we could go back and say, okay, our slope was 2, or I like to say 2 over 1, and whether this is positive or negative is how we're going to go up or down. I like to just use the sign and apply it to the top number, so in this case this is a positive 2, so we'll go 2 up, and I just say 1 over, and basically in the right direction. So we're going up 2 over 1, and you could do that a couple points. I also like looking at this as negative 2 over negative 1, which basically is the same as 2 over 1, because you could go down 2, back 1, and still end up on the same line there. And then you want to graph that here, and then come up with our line here, and that would be your line that you would graph. Now, a little bit different would be, we lost the line there, actually we could match it, is we can look at y is equal to, let's look at y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 3, and it kind of shows a positive y-intercept and a negative slope here. So my b is 3, meaning that when x is 0, my y is 3. That's where I would plot my y-intercept. And then my slope is negative 1 over 3, which is basically down 1 over. And so what I would do is start at my y-intercept, and I would go down 1, and I would go over 1, 2, 3. And then I could plot or graph that line here, and that would be my line for y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 3. Now, if you ever see maybe something 3x plus 2y is equal to 8, the idea here is if y is 0, we could just set that equal to 8, and then our x coordinate would be 8 over 3. And then if we set x equal to 0, then we could say 2y is equal to 8 divided by 2, meaning our y is equal to 4. And I'll show you more about that in an example. Next thing I just want to take a look at is also, just before we get going, just kind of when you have x equal to a number or y equals to a number, and just kind of explain that real quick. So if you have x is equal to 3, the idea here is you want to go where x is equal to 3, and you want to plot all those points, meaning that this is 1, 3, this is 3, 3, so on and so forth. And now if you plot all the points where x is equal to 3, you see that it gives us a line for that. And so this is our x is equal to 3 line. So it's funny because you think x is a horizontal axis, but when graphing, it actually ends up being a vertical line. And then let's go ahead and look at y equal to a number. Let's use a negative number here, like negative 4. You're doing the same thing. You're going where y is equal to negative 4, and you're plotting all those points where y has a coordinate of negative 4. And then if you were to connect all those points, well, then it would give you a line, a horizontal line, where y is equal to negative 4. So just an idea if you ever see x or y equal to a number and they have you graph that line. let's just take a look at a quick example here. And this is what I was talking about as far as graphing using zeros, which is a little bit different. Now you could take this and get y by itself. Subtract 4x, 9y is equal to negative 4x plus 36, divide by 9. And you could get y is equal to negative 4 over 9x plus 4, and you could graph like that. Or what I like to do, and I'll do another color here because see we could do something, we're doing something different, is just basically 4x, I'm going to make y 0, and basically we're going to start to graph the intercepts. So if y is 0, what is x? X is 9. So one of my coordinates would be 9, 0. So I could go to 9 and 0, and I could graph that point. And then I could do the same thing for y and set x equal to 0 and ask, okay, what is y? And, you know, we got this here, divide by 9, y is equal to 4. So basically I have a coordinate of 0, 4, and I could plot that as well. And make my line and graph that. Now, what I could show you, which is cool, if I did the same thing, let's go back to purple, with my slope-intercept form here, and I went to 4, and I went down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you see I would kind of end up with the same line there. So two different ways, but I just think this, in this case, when you have that standard form, it's a little faster, just set for zeros. You actually start doing some mental math. It ends up being pretty, maybe quicker, let's say. And then, although when I see something like this is maybe where I would probably go to converting to y equals mx plus b by getting y by itself. This seems to be a little bit quicker for me. And just like I showed you on the last one. But here you have y negative, so all we're doing here is just changing the signs. And then you end up at 8. Now here's where I want to show. So let's say you have this and you have an 8 over 1 slope, and this is positive, so it's up 8 over 1. Now I can convert a negative as a positive to negative 8 over negative 1, and what that allows me to do is kind of go in reverse and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and over negative 1, and I could just graph my point like this here. I just move the graph around so it fits, yeah, just like that there, and that would be my graph there. So a couple just things to look at, a couple little tricks that will be helpful in graphing using your y equals mx plus b. Hope this is a big help. See you guys later.